Good afternoon, BVI. Good afternoon, world. My name is Christopher, the Acting Director of Communications for the Government of the Virgin Islands. We apologize once again for being just a little late, but today we have a very special press conference regarding our entire delegation for the Carifesta, which we held in Barbados in the next coming few days. And of course, we just came out of Hurricane Erin, and so we do need to have an update to the territory on Hurricane Erin as well. I want to welcome to the press conference here today, of course, our Premier and Minister for Culture in this regard, the Honourable Dr. Natalio Wheatley. We also have our Minister for Health. I believe he's coming straight from Antigua. They both are. Honourable Vincent Wheatley here, newly minted Acting Deputy Governor. Do I say honourable? I could just give you honourable. I don't even know. No, she said no. Mrs. Carolyn Stout Igwe. We have here beautiful honourable Mrs. Luce Hodge Smith, the Junior Minister for Tourism and Trade. Sorry, Tourism and Culture, my apologies. Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Mr. Joseph Smith Abbott. Lots of people here today. On my right, we have Mr. Jason Penn, Director of Disaster Management. On my extreme right, we have Mr. Kamari Foy, Assistant Secretary for the Ministry of Tourism and Culture. And also right in front of me here, we have Miss Anne Leonard, Deputy Director of Culture. Quite a mouthful. I'm missing, sorry, there's quite a few people here. The Deputy Secretary for the Premier's Office, Dr. Lavon Chawel. I hope I didn't miss anyone. I think we're good to go. Apologies for the Honourable Kairama, who will be here shortly. But we have a very full schedule, a very full agenda, as we're speaking ad lib today. But most importantly, I want to welcome all of the delegates, to our press conference. It's a very exciting time for the BVI here as we travel, hopefully, to Barbados in the next few days. History will say that our last Carifesta that we sent in the group to was 2019, correct, Honourable Luce? So we have a full team. I hope that the camera can capture the excitement of the young people here. And so we wanted to make a big splash of that. And of course, the Premier will lead it. But also, we do need to have a discussion about Hurricane Erin and any possible storms that are coming your way. This could not be a press conference if we didn't have the press. I want to say welcome to the press. Thank you very much for your patience as we started a little late, and we're going to allow you to exercise your freedom in whatever questions you need that's appropriate for today. And we do have a very, very full day. So I'll start off with the Premier, as he will start with the remarks first, followed by Honourable Luce Hodge Smith, and then I will let you know how it goes from there. Please, Honourable Premier, if you can catch your breath, I hope.
Yes.
Thank you. Give him a round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My apologies for keeping you waiting, as our Acting Director of Communications stated we fresh off the plane from Antigua. And of course, we didn't get here as quickly as we would have liked. But before I begin, I just want to give, in this setting, condolences to the family of Jamal Jones. Jamal Jones was a loved public officer. Worked with myself in education in the Premier's office, and of course his wife, Mrs. Hamisha Smith Jones, also works in my ministry. And I know that he interacted with quite a number of persons in the public service and in our community. And our thoughts and our prayers are with his family, including Kyria, which is his first cousin. So our thoughts and prayers are with his family and all those who loved him and knew him as a friend. He was a wonderful person, and I certainly I felt the impact of his loss. So may his soul rest in eternal peace. I also want to acknowledge those two young persons who helped England, United Kingdom, win the European softball championship. I don't recall both of their names. I know Darielle Malone is one of them, and also a young Scatliff. What's her first name? Corey. Clary Scatliff. I want to acknowledge them and congratulate them. Let me acknowledge the Minister for Health and Social Development, Honourable Vincent Wheatley, our Minister responsible for Culture and Tourism, Honourable Lusad Smith. We have the Acting Deputy Governor, Mrs. Carolyn Stout Igwe, Permanent Secretary Joseph Smith Abbott, the Deputy Director of Culture, Ms. Anne Leonard. Of course, we have Director of DDM, Jason Penn, Assistant Secretary Kamari Foy, members of the media, members of the delegation for Carifesta, the viewing public, those listening on radio, and all others. It is with great pride that I announce the Virgin Islands' participation in the upcoming Caribbean Festival of the Arts, to be held in Barbados. This premier regional event celebrates the depth and diversity of Caribbean artistic traditions, and the Virgin Islands is honored to stand among our Caribbean brothers and sisters in showcasing our cultural wealth. Our delegation, composed of talented Virgin Islanders across music, dance, theater, the culinary arts, and crafts, represents the essence of our cultural identity. These cultural ambassadors will not only share their gifts with regional and international audiences, but also tell our stories in a way that ensures the Virgin Islands is recognized as a vibrant and integral contributor to the Caribbean's cultural tapestry. The significance of this participation extends far beyond performance. Carifesta provides a unique platform for cultural exchange, collaboration, and inspiration, deepening regional bonds and affirming the role of our heritage in shaping Caribbean identity. Through this engagement, our artists will strengthen both their craft and the wider regional cultural sector. As Premier and Minister of Culture, I commend our delegation for their dedication and commitment as representatives of our territory. I also extend gratitude to the many supporters and organizers who have made this journey possible. Together we ensure that our cultural voice is heard, our heritage celebrated, and our legacy sustained on both a regional and international stage. We remain attentive as final preparations are made, particularly mindful of weather developments during this active hurricane season. Necessary precautions are being taken to ensure the safety and success of our delegation as they prepare to represent the Virgin Islands with distinction. I had the honor of leading a delegation to Carifesta in 2019 as the then Minister of Culture. And I also had the honor of being a participant in a Carifesta. I think it was somewhere around 2008. And that was under the leadership, the delegation was led by now Honourable Lusad Smith. So I'm very familiar with Carifesta and look forward to the Virgin Islands showcasing its talent. The recent passing of Hurricane Erin once again reminded us of the power and unpredictability of nature. While the storm posed a serious threat to our territory, we are deeply grateful that the Virgin Islands sustained only minimal damage. I commend the people of the Virgin Islands for their vigilance and preparedness, as well as the tireless work of our emergency response personnel and supporting agencies. Their dedication and professionalism have enabled us to withstand this challenge with resilience. The Director of the Department of Disaster Management, Mr. Jason Penn, will provide a detailed update on the recovery process, including the latest assessments and the steps being undertaken to ensure all affected areas receive the necessary support for a swift return to normalcy. In addition, the Minister for Communications and Works, Honourable Kairima, who we welcome to this press conference, will deliver a statement on the progress of cleanup operations following Hurricane Erin, as well as outline the government's expectations and readiness for the remainder of the hurricane season. His report will highlight both the immediate measures taken to restore affected communities and the long-term strategies being implemented to enhance our resilience against future storms. As we continue through this hurricane season, I urge our residents to remain vigilant, prepared, and united. Your government remains steadfast in its commitment to safeguarding the lives and well-being of all who call the Virgin Islands home. We give thanks for our safety, and together we resolve to stand strong in the face of any challenge. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Premier. And as we did welcome the Honourable Kai Reimer, our Minister for Communication and Works. This is a Carifesta and a post-Erin joint press conference. So I'm going to just say ladies first just for today. And we always love to have ladies first, but we're going to invite the Honourable Luz Hart-Smith to give her brief remarks. Give her a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everyone. I recognize the protocol already established, and I am also wanting to join with the Honourable Premier expressing my mixed emotions today. I also wish to extend condolences on the passing of Mr. Jamal Jones. I too worked with Mr. Jones in accounts. He was an accountant. When he was in the Premier's office, I think he started that, former Chief Minister's office, then Premier's office, and also under my capacity as Director of Culture. Well, first Education Officer for Culture and Director of Culture, we worked in the Ministry of Education, Culture, etc. So I just want to also extend condolences to his family on the tragic passing of Mr. Jamal Jones. And of course, the other side of the emotion, the happy part where our young athletes were able to hit the international scene again. We have so many talented athletes in this territory, and we want to recognize Ms. Scatliff and Ms. Malone for their valiant sports display in helping the UK to win the section that they won the other day. So we're very pleased and very happy to celebrate and recognize our young people, our young athletes. And of course, they are women. So we are very pleased and happy about that. Right, ladies?
Right.
Thank you. Now, as Junior Minister responsible for culture and tourism, I am very pleased to be here today as we celebrate and encourage the Virgin Islands delegation to Carifesta 15. Culture is the heart of who we are. It defines us, tells our story, and connects us both with our ancestors and our future. In supporting this delegation, the ministry is fulfilling a very important mandate, and that is to preserve, promote, and showcase the unique culture of the Virgin Islands, while also positioning it as a source of national pride and an avenue for economic opportunity. Culture and tourism often walk hand in hand, and we recognize that cultural expression is not only a cornerstone to our identity, but also an asset that can attract visitors, build industries, and expand opportunities for our people. This year's delegation is special. It brings together seasoned cultural practitioners who have been honing their craft for years, alongside new emerging artists bringing fresh energy and perspectives. This balance between tradition and innovation ensures that our culture remains alive, dynamic, and relevant. The preparation has required immense dedication. The preparation has required immense dedication. Musicians rehearsing tirelessly, dancers perfecting their performances, designers and visual artists creating works that reflect our identity, and writers and filmmakers preparing to share our stories with the world. Their commitment is not easy, but it is necessary and deeply appreciated. I especially want to highlight the youth delegation. 13 of our students, accompanied by 3 chaperones, will have the opportunity to participate. For them, this is more than just a trip. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to learn, connect with peers across the region, and witness firsthand how culture shapes their identity. We are proud of them and grateful to their parents, teachers, and supporters who made their trip possible. The ministry's role in this process has been one of coordination, empowerment, and support, ensuring that our delegation has the logistical, financial, and organizational resources needed to succeed. Beyond simply facilitating travel and participation, our goal is to empower the artists by creating spaces for them to develop their craft, gain exposure, and build a network that will benefit the territory a long, long time after Carifesta ends. But Carifesta is not just about showcasing who we are. It is about building bridges. Our delegation will learn from their peers, forge new partnerships, and bring back knowledge and experiences that will strengthen our cultural ecosystem here at this time and at home. To every delegate, I commend your discipline, your creativity, and your resilience. You are not just participants. You are ambassadors of the Virgin Islands culture. When you perform, when you speak, when you engage, you carry the Virgin Islands with you. I have no doubt that you will represent us with pride and dignity. And finally, we stand firmly behind you. We thank you for carrying our story to the Caribbean stage. And this I say, thank you, and thank you again.
Thank you very much, Honourable Lucas Smith. We'll ask the Honourable Kai Reimer to make his way to the lectern and give us his brief remarks as well. And we will switch now to Hurricane Erin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Feels like I'm in the wrong place. We're speaking about Carifesta, but it's good that we can give an update on Hurricane Erin. So today, I'm here to provide an update on our response to Hurricane Erin and the actions we have taken to protect lives, infrastructure, and essential services across the territory. Hurricane Erin passed approximately 100 miles north of the Virgin Islands at Category 5 strength. While the center of the storm did not pass directly over our islands, we experienced sustained rainfall and intermittent gusts that tested our systems and our readiness. In Rotong alone, we recorded over 9 inches of rain. That volume of rainfall placed significant strain on our drainage system and contributed to localized impact across several districts. Thanks to the proactive gut clearing, road preparation, and careful coordination among agencies, we were able to mount swift responses to the impact that did occur. Some of the impacts included minor landslides across multiple districts. Some roads experienced washouts, particularly in vulnerable low-lying zones. We had fallen trees and hillside debris. They were widespread. Mud accumulation required a rapid cleanup to keep roads and access routes safe. For the Water and Sewage Department on Tortola, we had pipe exposure that was noted at Sabbath Hill, Joe's Hill, Tread Falls, Jennings Hill, and Nottingham Estate. Sabbath Hill and Jennings Hill and Nottingham Estate sustained the most severe impacts. Mitigation to repairs on Tortola included regrading the road base and drainage improvement and concreting of the road surface. Nottingham Estate, we had fractured pipeline being relayed and road rehabilitation ongoing. In Jennings Hill, rehabilitation requiring a revetment wall, designs and costings are being prepared at the moment. The estimated cost for these mitigations work is $66,500 thus far. Power and water supply interruptions. We experienced loss of power at Seven Seas, Bayer Bay, Capoons Bay, those plants, and at Diamond Estates, Johns Hole, East Elmo Stout High School pump, and those stations were affected. But these were resolved when electricity services were restored. So we did some water rationing measures on Tortola. We did Fort Hill, Longbush, Maya Cove Reservoir. They required rationing. Water distribution took place from about 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. and on the 17th of August at Fort Hill and Longbush. At Maya Cove, we resumed continuous supply at 5 p.m. on the 17th of August. Balsam Gut and Hannah Hill were restored at 7 a.m. This morning. On Virgin Gorda, we had some pipe exposure. It was reported at Handsome Bay, South Sound, North Sound, and at Baker's Bay. The issue at Handsome Bay has been resolved. Regrading with road base and concrete surfacing is ongoing in other affected areas. Power loss affected the Handsome Bay and North Sound desalination plants, and service was restored when BVIEC returned the power. For the water rationing on Virgin Gorda, it was implemented due to the power outage, obviously, and water distribution occurred from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the 17th of August through to 5 a.m. and on the 18th of August at Minton Hill. Continuous supply resumed at the Bond North Sound desalination plant from 3 p.m. on the 17th of August. Severe interruptions continued at Little Hill, Levericks Bay, Baker's Bay, South Sound, and Gun Creek, with restoration scheduled for 4 p.m. today. The Public Works Department, the district response teams that were deployed across the territory throughout the event, providing real-time updates on site conditions and hazards and also operational needs. Their work enabled timely intervention and strong coordination with the Department of Disaster Management and other agencies. Some of the key achievements of the response were the gut adjacent to the Rotown Fire Station. It remained fully operational with no overflow damage due to the pre-storm preparations. Heavy equipment was deployed in real time to stabilize saturated road and clear debris. Every site was visually logged and assessed for structural, environmental, and public safety impacts. All the interventions prevented more severe damage. We recorded 85% improvement in operational readiness compared to previous rainfall events. In some districts, zero-cost interventions were achieved through collaborative partnerships. Documentation models developed during this response will be aligned with ministry standard and will support future policy development. Our preparedness efforts significantly reduce the potential for greater damage. The Water and Sewage Department, Public Works team, they acted swiftly to mitigate against impacts to restore services where possible and ensure public safety. Recovery works are ongoing. Critical areas have been prioritized and cost estimates are being compiled so we can move quickly with repairs. The Ministry of Communications and Works will remain committed to ensuring continued resilience and readiness for future events. We thank our emergency responders, utility crews, all our partners, members of the public for their cooperation and their resilience. I say thank you.
Thank you very much. Minister for Communication and Works, the Honourable Kyrie Reimer. As you can tell that we are juggling two types of very heavy topics there, but I think that everyone in this audience at least certainly needs to listen and understand the impact of living in a hurricane-prone territory, and give the Honourable Kyrie another round of applause, please. It's a lengthy press conference, so we're going to move right ahead very quickly and keep the applause going as we ask Mr. Jason Penn, who is the Director of the Department of Disaster Management, to come and just give us a quick update. I know that we all experienced Hurricane Erin, and all of you would have been able to remember Hurricanes Irma and Maria, so he'll give us a little quick tidbit on what's to come and how we continue to prepare for the hurricane season. Mr. Penn.
Afternoon, everyone. We would have just went through the experience of Hurricane Erin, and we would have seen the magnitude of what a system like that can do, even though we did not have a direct impact. In terms of the recovery efforts, what is ongoing at this time, data is being collected as well as information from the other key agencies that took part in the response process. That information would then be compiled for a situation report, would be prepared and then submitted to the Cabinet for further actions. Of course, it would have updates as we continue going through the recovery process. Now, what I should also highlight, we just dealt with Erin, but there are other systems out there. Presently in the Atlantic, there's a disturbance that we are monitoring. It's about 5 to 6 days out. At this time, there's no clear indication of how it will develop because it's quite far out. But I should highlight what we would have seen with Erin, that these systems are now developing rapidly. For persons that are familiar with the National Hurricane Center's website or webpage, you would see right now that they have an orange area that is highlighting a particular system. That is actually not the tracking part of the system, but that is the area of concern. That means when the system gets within that particular area, it has that possibility to develop quite rapidly. In addition to that, there are also a number of different waves that are not being monitored on the actual Atlantic map that are hard to move off as well. So it's a clear indication that we are moving into a very active part of the hurricane season. We would have also seen that from earlier on, they would have made adjustments to the number of storms, hurricanes, major hurricanes. Erin is the first hurricane that has formed for the season. It is also the first major hurricane that has formed as well. They have numbers between 16 named storms, 11 hurricanes, 3 to 5 major hurricanes. And so far, we've only had one hurricane as well as just one major hurricane. So that should tell you that we do have to be ready, as there is still more hurricanes to come. So what we should be doing, even from this standpoint, monitor the information you get and use credible sources. The key thing, if you have any type of plan from a family perspective, ensure that everyone understands what's within that plan, what you would need to have in that plan, medicines, and so forth. We would have highlighted some of these things before. Even for business owners, it's critical that you ensure that your staff understand the plan and how it is to be used, so that they would know exactly what needs to be done if in the event you had to activate a particular plan. I should also point out some of the key things, so some of the key triggers that you can use. There's usually information statements that are issued, or tropical alert statements that are issued as well. These can be triggers that can help you to start the process in terms of looking at your plan. They do mean different things, and I do understand that sometimes they can be quite lengthy in understanding exactly how these statements are. If you are unfamiliar and you need clarification, you can contact us at the department. Our number is 284-468-4200 in order for us to provide further clarification. I will just be brief. Those are the key aspects. Be prepared, keep monitoring. We're going through a very active part of the season, and there will be more systems to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jason Penn, the Director of the Department of Disaster Management. Now, I know that it's heavy for the young people, but it's information that you need, and I can see your numbers are looking good. That means all of your parents are watching to see y'all quickly. So on that same note, then we'll welcome Mr. Kamari Foy, the person that you've all been hearing from quite a bit, and he will also be able to introduce the delegation to the public and to the Virgin Islands. And I want to make sure I say this again, Mr. Foy can get up. I want to say that this press conference was planned quite a few days before we even thought about Hurricane Erin. And Premier, my boss, he wanted to make sure that we understood that the hurricane is important. So while we're celebrating a delegation, it didn't feel right to have celebration without mentioning Hurricane Erin and the effects. I know there will be people trying to figure out what's going on here. So that's the back end behind of that, okay? Put your hands together for Mr. Kamari. Foy, please. And now delegations or delegates, now you know you're now going to be on TV, so look and act pretty. Mr. Foy.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. I would like to give my sincere thanks to the Honourable Premier and the Junior Minister for allowing me to oversee this process thus far, and I would like to present to them and to you, the viewing audience, the delegation for this year's Carifesta. With us this year, as the Junior Minister and the Premier would have pointed out in honor, we are doing more this year. We are not here to absorb, we are here to partake. We are here to teach, to learn, to give a different voice and a different view to what we have done in our past times. Our members here today are not only versatile, but they are amazing. They stand before you, well, in this case, sit with us today, as members ready to contribute our history, our culture, our heritage to those of within the region. So please, as I introduce to you our 53-member delegation going to Carifesta this year, I would like to start with our first area, our dance area. Our area of members in yellow, please stand. The members you see before you are those who will be representing us in all of our dance workshop and areas at Carifesta, taking with them our cultural knowledge in art expression of dance. Please give them a round of applause once more. Thank you all very much. Next, we'll be going to our individuals who will be representing us in the creative space, the visual space. We'll be having our visual artists and our fashion design team in our green. Please stand. Give them a round of applause. These amazing individuals are those who take the visual representation of our culture and manifest it into art, so that it can be displayed for everyone to see, and the things that we have here in the BVI can be learned by others. Please give them a round of applause once more. Thank you all so much. My favorite group, the literary arts. Please stand, my good people in blue. Our literary artists consist of young poets and book authors who will be taking with them the voice that we have, the art that we have, the spoken words that we have. They will take our lineage, our history, our culture, and our heritage and put it into an art expressional form that everyone can be touched and know that we matter, know that they matter, and carry it with them to know that the BVI is here and is a place to come to. Please give them a round of applause once more. Thank you all so much. As the Acting Director of Communication pointed out, a very integral and important team, those in red. Please stand, our film and media section. These individuals, though normally behind the scene, will be capturing and curating our experience at Carifesta while also learning themselves. They will be facilitating workshops, they'll be partaking in discussions, and they'll be teaching their talents to others. Please give them a round of applause, because their work is never done. Thank you all so much. The biggest part of our delegation, the youth. Everyone in white, please stand. Carifesta 15 angles itself and prides itself on involving the youth in cultural development and historical preservation. Without our youth, our future cannot be named and our past cannot be carried on. Our legacy starts and ends with them. So, as part of the mandate by Carifesta and our Honourable Premier, our delegation consists of approximately 2/3 youth. So please give them a round of applause. They are the emerging talent throughout this entire experience. Thank you all so much. So to the public and to Honourable Premier, Honourable Junior Minister, I present to you your Carifesta 15 delegation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kamari. Foy, give the entire delegates a delegation a round of applause, please. I know it's a very exciting time. The last person that we'll have officially speaking is Miss Nadia Turnbull, and she will be speaking on behalf of all the delegates here today. And so she is actually brand new minted as one of the new communication officer for the Ministry of Financial Services, and also part of the delegation going to Barbados. Encourage her and give her one of applause again, please.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everyone here in the room and to those joining us online and on air. I recognize the protocol already established. My name is Natalio, a local animation and motion graphic artist, and I am proud to stand before you today as a member of the Virgin Islands Carifesta delegation. For me, the arts are more than performance or talent. They are a language, a way to tell our stories, to celebrate where we come from, to dream about where we can go. When young people are exposed to the arts, we gain confidence, creativity, and discipline. We learn to collaborate, to express ourselves authentically, and to see the world through fresh perspectives. On a personal level, the arts have shaped me, not just as an artist, but as a person. They've taught me to set goals, to push through, and they've challenged me, and to use my voice to make a positive impact. As a country, investing in the arts strengthens our cultural identity. It preserves our traditions while giving us new ways to share the Virgin Islands story with the world. At Carifesta, we are not only representing ourselves, we are carrying the spirit, history, and pride of our people onto a regional stage. I am honored to be a part of this journey, and I hope our participation inspires other young Virgin Islanders to follow their passions, whether it's in the arts or any other field. Because together, we can keep our culture vibrant, our stories alive, and our voices strong. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ms. Nadia Turnbull. Now, we've come to the end of the presentation part of the press conference, and of course, there's no press conference without the press. And again, I want to say thank you, the press, for your patience, and acknowledge ZBVI, who's always on board with us, of course, GIS, CBN Radio, CCT Live, and Flow TV, all of which will be bringing this press conference live. So this is a part where this local audience in front of me gets to see it live and direct, where the wonderful media will be very nice and ask questions based on what we heard here. We do only have two media here. One left a little bit early, but we want to welcome them as they now get to ask the questions to any member of the panel except me, and we will hear how this works for you, especially the delegations. Remember, we're asking questions on Hurricanes Irma and also the Erin. Thank you. Forget Irma. Erin, thank you. And also our Carifesta team to Barbados. So we'll ask the media to please stand and ask your questions. That mic on my left is the one. So perhaps BVIB, you can start if you don't mind?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Premier. Sean Connolly, Business Editor of the BVIB. Just dealing with tourism, where are we at the moment on the National Tourism Policy, which was extended in June?
Yes, Permanent Secretary Joseph Smith Abbott has reported to me that he's putting on the finishing touches on that policy so a draft can be presented and circulated. So, we are.
And are we still on course for the National Tourism Plan in October? Then has that been drafted?
Right now, we are just reviewing the draft request for proposal. So that's being reviewed right now, so that can go out at the earliest possible time.
Okay. On Carifesta, the leader of the opposition had a press conference last Thursday where he accused you of being the party premier who was spending a lot of money on parties and what he called indulgences, including $300,000 for the Uber Soka Cruise Party and 219,000 for Carifesta trip to Barbados. How do you respond to that?
Well, if my crime is investing in the young people of the territory, all of the young people that you see here, giving them opportunities for exposure at the Caribbean Festival of the Arts, then I'm guilty as charged. You know, that's something that I'm proud of. I've been to Carifesta, so I know the impact that Carifesta has on young persons. We've had persons who went to Carifesta in 2019, and I've just seen them blossom and grow in the arts, and I'm sure that experience was important to them. As it pertains to the Uber Soca Cruise, I see that Uber Soca Cruise as important as really marketing to a different demographic than we've been marketing before. Persons in the region. You have many persons in the region who support that cruise. They come, they spend money in your jurisdiction. They provide great exposure to the jurisdiction. And I think that's also an investment that will have great dividends for the territory. As it pertains to party premiere, I mean, let's look at the facts, right? As it pertains to how much money we've put into festivals and music festivals, they've put way more money before than now. You know, they had maybe at least 10 music festivals before I became the premier. All of that is rhetoric. That's tools to manipulate persons' perception. And I just ask persons to be real and be true to the facts. When they do their research, they see that nothing has really been done different than what has happened in the past. There's always been music festivals. There's always been investment in the arts. And I am an artist myself. And I believe in the arts. I believe in our promoters. I believe in our musicians. I believe in our, you know, whatever aspect of the arts. Graphic designers, I believe in them, and I'm willing to invest in them.
Okay, he also referred to the $100 million loan, which you've mentioned quite a lot, saying that only $8 million of that is going towards the water situation, water purification, etc., and that you're squandering other monies on other things which aren't as important. How would you respond to that?
Well, that's nonsense. Yeah, that's all we have to say about that. We're investing in the airport. We're investing in the Health Services Authority. We're investing in the roads. We're investing in a detention center, which we're spending quite a lot of money now at Hotel Castle Maria. And there's a number of other areas that we invest in money. And we're going to deliver the projects, you know, and we'll get it done. And those projects will make us a better Virgin Islands.
Okay, finally, we're all expecting the visit of Baroness Margaret Hodge, the UK anti-corruption champion. Have you been told when that's going to happen yet?
We're looking at a tentative date late in September, but we're going to confirm that shortly.
Would that be after then the Foreign Office's decision on the Commission of Inquiry reports and the Order in Council?
You know, the two shouldn't be connected in any way. We're following up with them about the decision on lifting the Order in Council.
Yeah, it's been portrayed in the British media from the Liberal Guardian to the Conservative Times that Margaret Hodge has been sent here to give you a slap on the wrist. So she will put you in line, as they would say it. How do you respond to that?
The primary purpose of her coming here is so that she can learn, you know, so that she can be educated, in my view, in terms of what we're doing to fight against illicit finance. And we have the same goals. You know, we don't want any illicit activity to be taking place in the world, and certainly we don't want the Virgin Islands to be a haven for any illicit activity. So she needs to come and learn all of the systems that we're putting in place and have put in place, and all of the good work we're doing in that regard.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sean from BVI Beacon. You can give him a round of applause. We have a very big audience. I wonder who here wants to be the premier when they're grown. Anybody here wants to be the premier? with all of those hard questions. We love that.
They can handle it.
So this is exactly why I'm so happy that y'all are here. This is, you've seen this in real time. People who are outside wish they could be in here to actually see and witness how it is. And because you guys are artists of the arts and journalists, and this is great practice so you can see how it really works. We're going to ask Miss Kathy Richards, who you all should know from JTV, to continue with the line of questioning.
Good afternoon, everyone. Kathy Richards, JTV News. First of all, I want to say congratulations to all the young people who are venturing out to Carifesta. It's a wonderful thing. I experienced it. I know from the time when I would have experienced it, it would have evolved, but just make good use of it. It's fabulous. All right. Suffice to say, this might sound like a little kind of question, but I think it's relevant. Having heard and seen some comments on other events that would have taken place around the world in time past, when we're taking out young people like this group that we're taking today, what level of insurance is provided for these young people in the event of any incident?
Well, you had something on that, Mary?
Yes, I could talk about that.
Okay.
I can talk,
Yes. Go ahead.
All right, thank you for that
Sorry, don't answer yet.
question.
Just want to make sure.
But thank you for that question, Kathy. And I think that persons would be happy to know that there are two different groups here, as was mentioned earlier, I believe, maybe before the press conference started. We do have the original delegation, of course, and they're all part of our delegation, but the young people will be going to a special grouping. They're going to be part of Honourable Mia Motley's group. She requested that we send students, or each delegation have our students be a part of the delegation. So they're going to be separate to what we have in terms of the performing arts, because there's a special program designed for them. So they're going to be in a different space. And we are assured that there will be security 24/7 around them. And there'll also be security around the entire delegation. But I think in terms of where these students are going to be staying at, because she anticipated about 1,000 students from throughout the region. So we're just a small amount, but we're happy that we were able to get our students to participate. But in terms of Carifestas of the past and the one that we expect in Barbados, there's always high security surrounding the delegations that are there. Whichever country that they're participating in, security is high of importance. And we are each assigned liaison officers. We're each assigned transportation. So there's no need for us to be wanting. And there's also, wherever the security is within the hotel accommodations that are being provided for the delegation, there's security there as well. So I want everyone to be rest assured that the government of Barbados and us as leaders of this country are going to ensure that our people, as part of this delegation, are secure and protected in whatever situation that we find ourselves in, but rest assured that they are protected.
Kathy, you're talking about health insurance, or what you're talking about?
Safety, everything the thing.
Okay.
Insurance. In the event that something should happen, what families can look forward to. But knock on wood, everybody gonna be all right.
Right.
But just in the event, we need to understand, what level of insurance the government of the Virgin Islands take on itself as a responsibility for each and every individual that they take out of this country.
Right. Yeah, I think what Honourable Lucide Smith said certainly stands out. Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. Well, I'm very happy for this group. No question about that. Help us to understand how you went about selecting this theme for this year's Carifesta.
Well, based on the theme for this year, and I'll ask Mr. Kamari, because he really did a lot of the legwork, Mr. Floyd, to talk more about the details as to how the teams were selected, because we agreed on the areas that we're going to participate in. I think one was mentioned earlier, but we're not participating in that, although we explored it. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a more of a challenge for us when we looked at how we would want to present our poetry. And maybe next time we can do that, because Carifesta is now We didn't do the culinary for several reasons, looking at the logistics of things. And not to say that we couldn't, if we were able to, solidify how we would be able to present ourselves and our food. And if we go to Barbados, we want to be able to authentically present our culinary arts. But in terms of the delegation that was selected, the areas that we were able to select, I will let Mr. Payne give more details about that, because he was more intricately involved with contacting persons, making arrangements. And I want to say before we proceed that it was his idea to put them in color codes today. And they, as you notice, these are territorial colors, very creative. He's already very creative.
So, Ms. Kathy, in response to your question, so after being given the groups that we'll be participating in, we then subdivided it into various competitions and segments where discussions occur for their placement. So, for example, I will call upon certain people to stand, for example. So, Miss Savannah Charles, if you don't mind standing for 1 second, please. So, when we were informed that we would be participating in the dance segment, we then had a plethora of dance groups that were put forward. And based on the criteria that was looking between what we needed from Carifesta to meet, we wanted to make sure that the person chosen would be able to actually do as much as possible. So looking at those criteria, we singled out a series of groups of individuals, and then Miss Charles' group so happened to be the best fit for what we need at that time. Miss Charles was then contacted to say, well, hey, we need you to do, or would you be interested to do this for Carifesta, and is it possible? She then would say yes, and then she would be responsible for how she go about choosing her number of candidates to go with us. So we would have given her a set number, and she was to make that a reality. So she at BVI Dance School, I was going to say Academy, my apologies, BVI Dance School, she would look at her roster and dictate how and who would be the best fit to accomplish what we need done. Thank you so much. Then we would have made contact to Miss Hodge, Commissioner Hodge, and same conversation would have taken place with Commissioner Hodge. You have to stand, please. Thank you. Same conversation would have taken place with Commissioner Hodge. Seeing that she would have had her film competition the year before, it would have eliminated us on the ministry's end trying to navigate how do we go about selecting the best from the territory where Commissioner Hodge already has that answer. She has it for us. So she put together her roster based on her people, what will look like, what we will need based on the criteria set forth by myself from Carifesta in conjunction with the Honourable Ministers. Thank you, Ms. Hodge. Further to that, we would then the chief artist here, the Honourable Premier, he insisted heavily, without a doubt, unequivocally, that we would have a poetry competition, a poetry reading. Unfortunately, due to timing, we weren't able to have the reading portion of the competition, but our members, several members of our delegation were chosen from that competition based on the pieces that they would have submitted. We would have critiqued them, graded them, and would have gone from there. Some of them would have come on strong recommendations from our former poet laureate, Dr. Richard Georges. Oh, my apologies. Dr. Georges, where we would have then chosen two of them based on his criteria from his experience with the BVI Lit Fest. So that team as well came out of competitions of their own. Now, unfortunately, I can't have a lead for that one, so no one stood, but I'm going to ask all of them to stand. Everybody in blue, please, you know. I'm parading y'all around, every single one of you. Smile for the people, I'm just saying, smile. Thank you all so much. Now, the hardest group for me, and I was going to say it again, for me, was our visual artists to go with it. So, our good people in green, if you don't mind standing. So, I relied heavily on the Department of Culture. They are the technical department who had variant interaction with the creative space in that regard. So, they were able to go through their catalog, see what it looks like, see what artists would make what we want or what we envision for Carifesta a reality. And as such, we came up with these three individuals, everyone except for Miss Tumble Smith, who's a fashion designer who would have gotten through because of a competition the ministry also held. Her design was very amazing. It was very nice. I hope she brings it to life. But they were chosen through very elaborate conversation with the Department of Culture. Thank you all so much. Thank you all. And then last but not least, we have our youth. Our youth went through two different processes. One, Mr. Shamoy Smith, I'm identifying specifically. Mr. Smith, can you stand? was chosen to represent us at a talent showcase specifically for his vocal prowess over in Virgin Gorda. Wanted to ensure that someone from the Sister Island was able to represent us. Oftentimes it's something that is done that's just Tatola and that's it. No. So we put out feelers for the entire Sister Islands, all 3 islands, to see who actually meet the criteria and that fit, and he was the one best recommended and suited to us. Thank you. The remainder of the youth were chosen by the principals of the not Emerson High School, from the Ministry of Education, my apologies, and their best fit recommendation of their school leaders were put forward, and they stand here. Thank you. They stand here before you. So these are the future generation of the BVI. These are the culture bearer. These are our future premier, ministers, deputy governors. So please give them a round of applause. And that is how we went about choosing our delegates for this year's Carifesta. No. Oh, sorry. No, ma'am.
All right, my next question, I'm coming off the Carifesta. Honourable Minister for Work and Communication, Erin passed. He was minding was minding the business, going along, but he just turned and make a sheet. And we suffered with electricity and water. Could you tell us how much more prepared we need to be if somebody decides that, I'm going to make a stopover and not just sneeze?
Thank you for the question. I too suffered myself. I mean, unfortunately, we are grateful to God that the little he or she, whoever it is, it wasn't worse than that. But, I give kudos to the team at Water and Sewage, BVIEC. Some of the challenges that we faced, they couldn't control some of them. We had some heavy lightning that affected some of the infrastructure. They did quite a lot of repair at the station, and they had some burnt switches as well, certain things that you couldn't avoid. But those guys worked throughout the night, and they were able to, I think, all power is restored now. And it comes with the system. We have an age-old system. We are working towards having our infrastructure underground, but it's a work in progress, and we need the funds to get it done, and we are working towards that.
The money man sitting next to you, what is promised to make sure we
that's why I said.
What are you?
Sorry?
He said you're the money man for the funds that he needs.
Well, I could tell you that, I've already spoken to the general manager at BVI Electricity. I mean, I just reminded them today that we spoke probably from last year. I told them to make some preparations to bury the cables in the eastern end of the island, which would help Virgin Gorda as well, because they're connected through to the eastern end of the island. So they've put the conduits under the ground already, and we will fund the cables themselves. So we're just waiting for him to give us that estimate so that we can make the funds available, and we're going to bury those cables. But it's going to be a phased approach. Thankfully in the Rotong area we have things on the ground, but we need to extend that to other areas, starting with the eastern end where we have biggest population center outside of Rotong.
Okay, and so both you Premier and Honourable Raima, why is it until this day that our desalination plants have to depend directly on BVIEC and not with any backup systems of their own?
Again, that is something that we met, and it's something we definitely going to be working on. I think when the contract was signed by Water at the time, there was funds for a generator, for a backup generator. But I think governments came and that changed, and since then we weren't able to add that generator. But we've spoken with the GM and to see how we can mitigate against it, how we can get that backup generator there.
Okay, and finally, with the systems on the way that Mrs. Penn spoke of, and our team traveling, not necessarily, and our team traveling, we would have seen the discomfort of many people when we heard that airport closed, airport open, flight canceled, flight not canceled. what mechanism or arrangements we have in place to make sure that when our children and our aunts and uncles and everybody leaves, and should something, because one of the systems I saw is kind of likely to track towards Barbados kind of area. That's the section of the Caribbean, not confirmed. But just in the event of anything, bringing them home all right?
Yes, I understand that very much so, Kathy, and very much so a necessary concern, because Carifesta happens around this time of year every time. Well, whenever it happens, it's always in August. So we do anticipate the fact that we are in the hurricane season and we are within the region where the hurricanes happen. But from experience, being a lead delegate leader of a delegation in the past, we had that experience in Trinidad where there was a threat of a hurricane. And what we do and what the delegates will experience is that we have morning sessions. We will have sessions every day to regroup and to let everybody know where everybody's going to be, to make sure everybody gets to where they're going to be, wherever their schedule is. So we will always be in contact. So if there's something threatening, we will be able to regroup and we will be able to support each other. And of course, again, this is a responsibility of the country, the host country. They are to ensure that whatever delegation that comes, they have that responsibility. So we have to trust that they will have this in place, but we will also be very mindful. We will be tracking the fact that we have a very active hurricane season. We will be tracking, staying abreast of what's going on, and keeping all our delegation, or all our delegates informed, and making decisions where we need to make decisions, and ensuring that should something be coming by, we ensure that we're safe. Because I remember in Trinidad, we did have the round session, informed everybody, and we did purchase supplies in the event that we had to be locked in our rooms. I did get them some food supplies in the event. So with the experience, I assure you that we will be definitely aware and be mindful of the time of season that we're in.
Okay, we have a chartered flight for everyone? Chartered plane?
Yes, we do have a chartered flight, but if necessary, we'll do all that we have to do to keep our delegates safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kathy. With the hard-hitting questions, I saw like 20 parents online one time when Kathy started to speak. Nevertheless, I think the Honourable Luz Smith did justice to those questions. And I'm going to ask our Premier to have the final word really on the delegates and their pending departure for Barbados, and of course, this current hurricane season that we're all experiencing. Premier?
Yeah, well, thank you again. I don't know if Kamari wanted to say anything about some of our artists who are going to be performing there. And, didn't necessarily.
I didn't see him say anything. So I wasn't sure if it was a surprise. It's breaking news. What is that?
Is it a surprise?
It's not really a surprise. We were just working to some kinks, so I didn't want to put it
I understand.
ahead of time, but it's okay. So I would have mentioned all of our areas in which we were participating in our artistic expression. I left off music, but the BVI will be represented by Adam O, who will be taking place or taking part in both our country night, where we are representing our country to the rest of the region, but also he'll be taking center stage on the super concert representing the British Virgin Islands on the first night in Barbados. Along with him, we'll be taking Useless Boss Freeman, who will be participating in a Calypso show and super concert by distinction on the second to last night with us. We are in the process of getting a couple more artists to represent us throughout the stay in Carifesta, but because we're still working on those, I don't want to put them out just as yet. But please give a round of applause to them wherever they are.
And just to say, those super concerts are a big deal. The biggest artists in the Caribbean, Marshall Montano, Shaggy, they always have the biggest artists performing. So our artists getting to be able to be on the stage at those super concerts is a big deal. Well, just to say, I want to certainly thank all of the persons who have placed their trust in us to be able to have these young persons and those young at heart who will be traveling with us to Barbados, and we want to assure you that safety is number one. So first of all, as it pertains to potential weather, we are monitoring the weather, and we'll make decisions accordingly, based on whatever systems are existing. In no way, shape, or form will we put anybody at risk. We'll be very cautious as it pertains to that. But also, of course, in Barbados, I want to assure persons that this is something that the government of the Barbados and CARICOM takes very seriously, so security is a number one priority as well. And of course, we also expect persons to go there and to be ambassadors for the Virgin Islands and to be able to conduct themselves, to know that we know the way that we as Virgin Islanders conduct ourselves with dignity and class. And of course, we are looking forward to being able to go and to display our talents and to really represent the Virgin Islands in a way that will make our people proud. So we want to thank those persons who've agreed to be able to come and to do that, and we're looking forward to a very enriching and wonderful experience.
Thank you very much, Premier. We've come to the end of our press conference here. We'll say this is for the month of August. I want to say a special thank you to, of course, our Premier, the Honourable Dr. Natalio Wheatley, and I'm going to start from my left over there and bring on up to the Junior Minister for Tourism and Culture, Honourable Luce Hodge Smith. You can give them a round of applause. Rushing from Anigada, that's how quick and important this was. We want to please give a round of applause to Honourable Kai Reimer, our Minister for Communication and Works. And just let me add, Premier was also rushing from Anigada, so we thank you. So we give him a little reprieve for being late. We want to also say thanks to Mr. Jason Penn, Director for DDM. Thank you, sir. Mr. Kamari Ford, who has been exhaustively working on this entire process. Give him a huge round of applause. It's almost there. We're almost there. And the persons who are not here, we're always so very happy to have any Minister of Government come to support us here with our press conference. Also rushing from Anigada to be here is our Minister of Health, the Honourable Vincent Wheatley. Our Acting Deputy Governor, the Mrs. Carolyn Stout Igwe, of course, our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Joseph Smith Abbott, and Deputy Director of Culture, all here. And of course you, thank you to the delegation who are all here. Honourable, we are live on air and your mics are on. So the delegates, thank you for being mostly on time. We had a little discussion. So parents, are you listening? Make sure you have that little pep talk with your children. Follow the rules, be on time, dress according to the dress code, and have fun. And we always go with God here in the Virgin Islands, and going to Barbados, pending weather, is no different. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here. We thank you very much. Once again, my name is Carifesta Christopher, the Acting Director of Communications for the Government of the Virgin Islands. Hopefully soon I'll have one of you here in this seat, and I'll be sitting on proud watching you. We actually to say thank God for, we had a very pleasant-ish Hurricane Erin passage. No deaths, so that's always a good thing. Minimal damage. Well, $60-something thousand could buy something good, but we thank God for the minimal damage. Oh, that's not the final figure. Well, we're so grateful for minimal damage based on what we know that a Category 5 could have done. And of course, we want to say thanks again. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. We will update you with the delegation, and soon you will see pictures and videos pending the weather. Carifesta 13, correct, Ms. Hodge? 15. I want to make sure you are awake. Carifesta 15, hashtag Carifesta 15, coming to you shortly. Thank you all very much. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day.